Okay, this video will demonstrate the use of a central-venous catheter for the infusion of CT contrast using power injection. So the first thing that you do is that you wash your hands thoroughly. Got my apron on. So then you just need to assess the line. So make sure that the line itself can withstand the pressure that you need for the scan. So it will tell you on the catheter, whatever, this is a pick line obviously, but it'll tell you on the catheter how many mils per second, etc. Another thing you should do is just check to make sure the patient's okay and use your guidelines to make sure that there isn't any signs of complications. And there are some instances where you would not carry on with the infusion if there's a problem with the central venous catheter. Okay, so as I said, I've washed my hands, so now I need to clean the tray. Okay, so now I need to get my equipment ready. If you've got the pre-filled syringes, that's great. If you haven't, then you need another 2 syringes and a needle. I also need some saline. So saline 20 mils, and then you'll need an extra 10 ml syringe, a needle-free connector, and a clinell to wipe the end. Okay, so once your tray is dry, so make sure you wait for the tray to be dry, and then you can gel your hands. Pop on your gloves. So non-sterile gloves is fine for this procedure. Okay, so on the clean and dry tray, you put on your equipment, whatever equipment you need. So you can take these out of the packaging. So we're going to be doing this procedure following ANTT principles. So you need to protect key parts. So once you take it out of the paper, of the packaging, then just make sure that the key part is covered. So we've got a needle and some saline. Okay, so what you need to do is prepare your syringes if you haven't got a pre-filled syringe. So open your syringes by leaving that part covered there. So you need to be protecting your key part. So protect this part here. So again, make sure that you don't touch any of that. Protect this, because that's a safety needle. So it's a blunt needle, and then withdraw 10 ml into your 10 ml syringe. Okay. And then if you've protected this, because it's not a sharp needle, you can resheath. Make sure you don't resheath sharp needles, and then protect it again. Get rid of any air from your syringe, and then to protect that key part here, pop it back into the syringe packaging. And do the same with the other one. I'll draw up another 10 mils. So this is obviously for when the infusion has finished. So protect that part. Draw another 10 mils. Get rid of the air. And what you can do now, because this is the one that you're going to flush with afterwards, you could put the end connector on it straight away. So make sure you open it on the side that you're going to be injecting through. So it's very important with ANTT principles that you protect both of these parts because they're both key parts. So open your end connector, attach the syringe and prime it, and then this then becomes the protection of your bioreactor, so leave it in the packaging. Okay, so again, get everything ready, and that's your syringe for blood withdrawal. So we've established that this PICC line is okay to use. So the first thing you do is open your clinell, and when you remove the bionectar, just keep your clinell in your palm of your hand and then remove the end connector. And then you must clean the end with a part of the clinell that you haven't touched. So you need to clean vigorously for 15 seconds. manufacturer says you can do the CT injection through the end of the hub here, you must make sure that you clean the very end of the needle-free connector there, and you must let it dry. So I'm allowing that to dry now. And because I've got everything ready, I can hold it with one hand and then I can have access to my syringe easily. So check to make sure that it's dry visually. Really important to wait. Okay, so now we're going to get a blood return. So you should always get a blood return from your catheter, whichever type of catheter it is. So obviously this won't give a blood return because it's not a human being. But you should get a nice free blood return flowing. If you don't get a blood return, you can flush it with a little bit of saline and then try again. So we'll need to just establish that we've got a blood return. Once we've got a blood return, flush it with the syringe. So give it a really good flush. Turbulent, positive pressure flush. So at the end then just take the syringe away. And then you're ready to connect your line. So make sure again you use ANTT principles, you don't touch these two key parts, and then do your scan. So now, when you're going to disconnect it, you need to put on another pair of gloves. So make sure you gel your hands before the disconnection. So now you've got your pre-filled syringe already with the bionectar on it, or the end connector, whichever one you use. Okay, so you need to grab your syringe, make sure you don't touch the key part here. Again, you're not touching any key parts. And then pop your end connector and your syringe. And now this is when you need to do a good flush. You need to do a turbulent flush, which is a push, pause, and then you need to remove your syringe away from the end to make a positive pressure flush. If you've got a clamp on the catheter, then you clamp it as you're pushing the last few mils. So let me demonstrate that to you. So you push, pause, and this creates that turbulence. So you can see I'm pushing, pausing. Then at the end here, if you've got a clamped catheter, as you're pushing, you just clamp it closed. But if you haven't got a clamp, you just flush, keep on flushing and remove it as you're flushing, and that will provide a positive pressure flush. That's it, thank you.